I have to trust that whatever is coming through me is the thing that's meant to be said. Welcome back to another episode of Fully Blooming. I'm recording this in London in my childhood home. This might be the only episode. There might be a couple more. I'm not sure how my week's going to play out, but there might be a couple more recorded here. But this might be the only one recorded here. And my parents are actually selling this home. So this might be one of the last times, the first and last time to record something in my old bedroom. And I think it's really amazing to do it in my bedroom because from, I think when I was 7 or 8, maybe, we lived in this home. And so that's 20 years. Oh my goodness. So yeah, this has been my home for 20 years. And even in the last couple of years, it's amazing to be sitting here and be recording a podcast and just to reflect and think about all the things I'm doing now and to, kind of be in this energy of the childhood home and all these memories. And I'm just looking around the room. And also to feel sort of a little bit disconnected from it and it feeling like a very different part of me, but also just kind of feeling the energy of all the years that I've been here and all the memories and how wow, I didn't realize this was gonna how I was gonna start the episode today. But I think just this kind of feeling of pride, and I'm hoping that my younger self would be really proud of herself, and she really is. I can feel her inside. And wow, a lot of clearing out obviously over the years, but gosh, it's so interesting coming back, isn't it? And spent a lot of time here, a lot of tears have been shed, a lot of laughter, a lot of memories and moments. And it's interesting because it's just a place, right? It's just a very solid 3D thing, and yet we hold on to so many memories and so many you can almost walk into your old childhood room and almost fall back into old patterns, right? And today's episode is, when I was thinking about what I wanted to speak about this week, the phrase "think before you speak" popped into my head. It was really interesting because I was like, okay, where does that come from? And for me, it's linked to being an intuitive. And I'll tell you a little story from, must have been last year now, when I was in Mallorca, that kind of displays what I'm hoping to talk about in this episode. And I was with a friend, and she had a meeting with this woman who owned kind of this retreat space and home, and she had a yoga space there and all of these different kind of garden areas to do all these different events. And it was a really cool, amazing space. And she was just going to have a meeting there to plan an ecstatic dance at the end of the season. And so I'd never met the woman who owned the place. And the woman that I was going with, she was just a friend. So I was like, I'll just come along and just have a wander around the grounds, etc. And I decided to sit with them as they were talking about their plans. And it was the first time that they were talking about it. And they were saying, like, okay, how many people are you thinking of inviting to this event? And they were kind of saying, one woman was saying 50 to 80 maybe. The other one was like, maybe 80. And then I just had this moment where it was just this ping. It was just the number 30, like something or someone or whatever pinged into my mind. And I hadn't said anything the whole meeting, so I was just listening and kind of like looking around and whatnot. And I just said to them, I'm really sorry. Do you mind if I interrupt? And they were like, no, sure. And I was like, it's 30. You're meant to have 30 people. And at the time, I was terrified because I was like, what on earth are they going to think of me? What, like, who do I think I am? 30 people. Like, what are you, like, I'm not involved in this at all. And the woman who owned the space looked at me. She went, thank you so much for saying something, because I actually only wanted 30 people. And the woman who I was friends with, she also looked at me. She was like, I was thinking 30 people, but I didn't want to almost say a low number like that compared to 80, because I wanted this other woman to take me seriously, and I wanted her to know that I take her seriously, and I want to use her space for like a big event and all of this. And I just said, yep, it's meant to be 30 people. And they both almost just breathed a sigh of relief. And if I hadn't said anything, potentially they would have gone to organising this event. I don't know if the event went ahead, whatever. But almost with this ignoring their intuition, right? Because of what the other person was, or what they expected the other person to think, even though they were actually on the same wavelength for this. And that was the first time that I've ever really done something like that and just kind of butted in and be like, I'm really sorry, but I just got to say this. And so this phrase, think before you speak, came into my mind because, and linked with imposter syndrome, because I think we all have an intuition, right? We all have this intuitive ability to whatever degree, in whatever capacity. And by that, I mean, maybe you can feel things or see things or smell things, or it's all the different clairs, right? So the clairvoyance, the clairsentient, I can't remember all the other ones, but and everyone has this ability, and whether it's your inner voice, whether it's your own intuition, we don't need to do it for other people, right? This was the first time I'd ever said anything out loud in terms of anyone else. But because I felt safe in that space, and I knew the women, and I knew the kind of event they were trying to create, and I knew the things they believed in and their attitudes and everything, I knew that it would be accepted, rather than being like poo-pooed and be like, yeah, whatever, you've just come out of nowhere, like, what do you think? And so this think before you speak, I think, yes, of course, in some situations, there is a difference between action and reaction, right? We want to act, not react. So yes, when you are triggered, when you are pissed off, when you are when someone has overstepped your boundary, when your gasket gets blown and you just feel like you've lost control and you're just, enough is enough. Absolutely. In those moments, we need to think before we speak, because that is when we say things that we regret. That is when we say things that we don't mean, and kind of all of the things that we actually feel really icky about when we think back about saying them. That's our reaction, right? It's not an action. It's not, if we were kind of grounded and feeling safe, that's not how we would want to react. And so yes, absolutely, in those situations, it's very much think before you speak, take a breath. However, I think if we apply this concept to the rest of our lives, that is also where we can squash our intuition. That is where actually sometimes where something is a no and you just feel it in your body, do you have the ability to say it out loud? Can you say things that your body is asking you to say out loud, because maybe it is for someone else's benefit, or maybe it's for your own benefit? That's normally where it comes from first, right? But can you really trust that the nudge, the guidance that you're being given in that moment is exactly what you're meant to hear, or what you're meant to say, or what you're meant to do? And again, it just comes to trusting that intuition, right? And I've really noticed this with my intuitive healing over the last year, of in the sessions, I am completely guided by whatever pops into my head, and people have asked me to explain how I do it, and I think I'm kind of done with trying to figure out how to do it, because actually it is another block to me, because if I'm trying to figure it out, then actually it's just using my mind. It's not using kind of that intuition, that body feeling. And so I've kind of just been like, I just do it. Okay. And I really noticed over the last year, there were things that I didn't realize, but I would not say, or when I'm recording a meditation, or when I'm in, kind of during the sessions or in conversation afterwards, I have to trust that whatever is coming through me is the thing that's meant to be said. And that has taken a long time to kind of build up this trust to, it's just trust. And I know I've said this in a lot of different episodes, but it's that trust that if rather than thinking through every single thing before I say it, I just let it flow. I let it be. I let it be exactly what it's meant to be in the energy that it is, right? And the same with these episodes and the podcast. If I thought about every single thing, and I actually, funnily enough, I do this about the podcast. Like, I still have at times some resistance to doing it. And I'm like, oh, but what if it's not a good one? What if it doesn't flow? What if I'm not in the right energy? What if I'm this? And actually, I'm more and more over the last couple of years, I've just had to trust my voice. And there's a helicopter that goes past, sorry about that. And whether it's my intuitive healing, or whether it's in conversations with clients, or whatever it is, I simply have to trust that what is going to come through and what I'm going to say out loud is going to be exactly what someone needs to hear, or what I need to do and what I need to hear. And again, I did not realize that this episode was going to go this way. But if I thought about everything before I said it, I wouldn't get anywhere, because at the end of the day, we're human. We are meant to use our voice. That is how so many of us communicate. Of course, there are other ways of communicating. And I think especially when you don't have similar languages or the same language, you notice how many other ways there are of communicating. And I've really experienced that this summer. That has been magic. And especially in my ski instructing as well, I sometimes get clients who don't speak English, and the way you communicate evolves and it changes. And I think it is absolutely fascinating. Like, my tennis coach didn't have much English, but my tennis improved beyond belief, from never having really played ever before to feeling really confident and great, absolutely loving it, and getting it over the net and in the right direction I want it to go, and backhand and forehand and all of these different things. And we couldn't communicate, but then at the same time, you just communicate in a different way. So a little bit of a tangent, but going back to this, building up the trust with your voice. And as women as well, the majority, the story for women is, you are too loud, you're an attention seeker, you are too much. You can think of all the things. If there is a loud woman in the room, what's said about them, right? And I think we all know these things now. It's not brand new news that that's how women are thought about. Versus if a man is loud, he's confident, he is a leader, he is directive, he is all of these things, right? And so, of course, it's unsurprising that so many of us women struggle to say out loud what we need, whether that is in a business situation, in a relationship, in a friendship, in a family, in just day-to-day life, just asking for support, anything that involves our voice and asking for what we need. of course we struggled to do that. And I know I did, because I had these thoughts, even in my intuitive healing sessions, of this person's going to think I'm crazy if I say this out loud. Or when sometimes we speak during the sessions, sometimes it's silent and I'm just doing the work, and then we talk about it afterwards and kind of what they experience and what I saw and experienced as well. And describing it and having to put what I experienced or what I saw or what I felt into words, and not censoring myself. That's the huge thing, right? It's how can we do these things without censoring ourselves, without holding back or removing things that we would actually want to say, but this fear of being too much or too needy, or being thought of as crazy, or being thought of as, for me, that is that kind of the witch wound, the if I'm doing this energy work, what are people going to think of me? And if I say this, and I'm like, over time I got to the point where I'm like, oh look, they're in a session. Like, they are open to this kind of stuff anyway. So the only thing that is blocking you or holding you back is yourself. That's it, right? But of course, because we haven't been taught how to express ourselves, how to talk intuitively, how to trust the words that are coming out of our mouths, of course it's going to take some time and some work, right, to move through and trust all these things that are meant to come through us. And I think journaling is a beautiful way of kind of stepping into this trust and really acknowledging what is flowing through you, because I think a lot of the time it's very subconscious. So we might think something and that we need to say out loud, but actually we don't even allow it to like come to the forefront. It's still in the background. It is still very much we just don't acknowledge it. So I would say journaling is the first thing, and just setting a timer for 8 minutes or something and just letting it flow and just seeing whatever comes up, whether you're angry or like you're swearing constantly, and just, it's, I can't remember the technical term, but it's like free flowing. It doesn't have to be sentences, it doesn't have to be anything, it can just be whatever is in your mind. Just write it out loud, write it down, not speak out loud, or record a voice note, but just have it in your voice memos on your phone, as if like you're not going to send it to anyone. Or so many different ways of kind of just allowing whatever wants to come through you to come through you. And again, it takes practice. It takes practice for me to feel that I can speak on a podcast. It is practice for me to write and share my Substack and my blogs. It's all practice, because we are not trained, or we are not taught how to do these things. So yeah, that was just the little snippet that I got today of think before you speak. And yes, in some extent, as I said earlier, if it's a reaction rather than an action, absolutely take a breath, think before you speak. However, if there are things that, even if in a conversation with a friend, are you just letting yourself speak naturally, or are you censoring yourself for fear of triggering them or pissing them off, or saying something wrong, or saying something in the wrong way and they might interpret it in this way, and XYZ, X blah blah blah. Like, just let it be, and trust that the people that you are surrounding yourself with, your friends, your family, your work colleagues, etc., the environments you're putting yourself in, can you trust that those people are going to act, not react, right? Because it's just a balance. And I think we are slowly as a society getting there in some aspects. People are becoming more aware of what their words mean, their actions, and everything. But at the same time, we can't censor ourselves for fear of triggering someone, or for fear of saying the wrong thing, because that is simply just squashing down our creativity, right? And interestingly, our voice, our throat, sorry, this is horrible, but if you look at, okay, yeah, I'll say it in a bit of a different way. If you looked down from your head and kind of looked at like a cross section of your throat, and you would notice that that actually looks the same as a woman's cervix. So throat and our cervix are so interlinked and so connected. So if we have a tight womb, if we have, and if we're holding on to everything, and if we have really bad cramps on our periods, if we have a lot of like abdominal pain, if we have, yeah, it's so interlinked. This is not what this podcast is about, this episode is about, but it is incredibly interlinked. So when you start working with your womb, when you start doing your womb healing, when you start potentially having a yoni massage, as I spoke about with Em in our episode, if you want to find out more, you can listen to that episode. Little plug. That is where I've kind of been really, that is where kind of, yeah, my voice, and I'm stuttering now, but where my voice has really being activated, because I have done so much healing on my womb and balancing the masculine and feminine, all that comes with it. But it's when we start healing our relationship with our womb, the voice starts to open up as well. And there's so much work out there, and studies and programs and all sorts of different things that are all about the womb healing and the throat activation, because they are so interlinked. So quick episode, little short episode for you. But as always, thank you so much. We have hit almost 700 downloads, which I am so excited about. I absolutely love it. And I love seeing, like, we've now hit all continents in the world. South American was the last one to hit. I mean, I don't think I've got Antarctica or Arctic yet, but you never know. I haven't checked in a while. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for your support. I absolutely love just, yeah, seeing where you're all listening from. And I mean, I'm sure some people are using VPNs, so who knows where you're actually listening from. But something that I'm really excited about is I am starting a exploration space. So it's a fully blooming membership, and it's on my Substack. So if you're interested in that, head over to my Substack. The link will be in below. So you can subscribe to my free newsletters, and kind of there's just a few newsletters a month, a few bits and bobs on there, and all of the archive as well, so you can look back and read if you want any of them. And the paid subscription is this membership, and this is a exploration space for you. This is a space for you to explore potentially different parts of you that you haven't necessarily experienced before, or maybe you're kind of going through a bit of an awakening right now and you're feeling a little bit lost or a little bit confused, or simply you are noticing that you are wanting a different way of life and you don't know where to begin, and you just feel a little bit alone or crazy potentially, and like you just want to be in a supportive space. And so it's really going to be led by the members of the group. So every month there's a meditation, kind of like self-inquiry journaling prompts, and there's kind of different blocks of them. You can pick and choose what you want to do. Helicopter again. And there's also one live call every month. So it really is led by you, whether you're more interested in the moon, you might do some moon evenings, whether you're interested in more energy work or more kind of the collective energy work, whether you're just diving into meditation and want to understand a little bit more about that, or you're more interested in yoni massage or whatever. I'm going to also bring in different speakers to do live talks, really based on what you want. So imagine that, yeah, you are supported. Like, where does your interest lie? What are you curious about? What do you need help with? And yeah, I'll do my card readings on there, kind of collective energy updates, and there'll be intuitive movement playlists on there. But at the end of the day, it's really led by you and what I feel that the group as a collective need that month. So yeah, I really hope you will join me in there. I'm really excited to see kind of what we create and what we expand into, but this is just the start. And it's also, if you are having healing sessions with me, you also have free access to that membership for that support over the next few months. So that's the latest, and yeah, I'm really excited about this little project. And it's there's a lot of magic at the moment, and there is a lot of grief as well in the world, so just acknowledge that. We are going through some big shifts, and we are about to go into eclipse season. So I will be talking about that in the membership. It starts on the new moon on Saturday, and the eclipse season really works with your north and south nodes and kind of your purpose and your comfort zone and what's out of alignment and what's in alignment, and is almost like the Hoover that comes in and clears everything that is not meant for your life. So this is where a lot of people will feel like a lot of things are crumbling, and just coming back to that trust that it's all happening for your higher good. It is all happening exactly as it's meant to, and you are safe, you're supported. This is all meant to happen, but it can be hard and it can be tough. So again, having that membership, having that space to talk about it, to maybe ask if anyone else is going through something similar, or just to share and be seen, be heard, be held. So important during these periods of transition as well. Our mental health is so important, and to know that you're not doing this on your own, to know that other people have been through this and they've got through this, it's I can't put words to it, to be honest. It is so vital, and I wish I had that during my own kind of initial experiences. Thankfully I have it now, but I also want to create it for someone else and for you. So speak to you very soon, and thank you for listening. Mwah. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Fully Blooming. If you're feeling inspired and motivated, please share with anyone you think may benefit from this video, and comment below if you have any ideas, suggestions or comments about future episodes that you'd like to know about. Thank you so much for your support, and see you at the next episode.